Hello, and welcome back to the Godly Playroom. My name is Ruth Lummox, and it's my pleasure to be in this space and to be able to share a story with you. We are still in that season of Epiphany. The most Sundays there can be in Epiphany are 9, and we're almost halfway through that. It's been great to have other people telling stories and to be able to listen a bit. And thanks for your patience as we experiment a little bit with some new technology. I wonder what you need to be ready. Maybe just to take a deep breath or two. Maybe you want to find a candle or get your feast or your work materials ready. Know that you can pause the video at any time to do just that. But this is a good time to pause and to get all that readying done so that you can just relax and be part of the circle today. It is one of the gifts of this online media that we are using now, that you can pause, but you can also watch it at any time. Maybe another deep breath. And another one. Sometimes we even move our hands up as we breathe in and breathe out through our mouth. Let our hands fall. Let our shoulders relax a little bit. I wonder what's been going on in your life. It's busy here at the church. Annual reports are coming in and we're getting those put together. And before we know it, it'll be time to have an annual meeting. And we'll be 2 years into this new public health situation. I wonder what you've learned over the last few years, or what you'd like to celebrate. That's really what our annual meeting is about. It's a time to celebrate all the amazing things we did last year and to commit ourselves to doing some new and amazing things this coming year and make sure we have some money to do it with. So thank you again for being part of the circle and part of the ongoing ministry here at First United, serving in the county and the city of Wetaskiwin. I'm feeling like I'm ready to tell you a story. I wonder if you're ready to hear one. Let's start with our candle. We remember that once there was someone who said such amazing things and did such wonderful things that people began to follow him. And the more they followed him, the more they wondered who he was. And so one time they just had to ask, "Who are you?" And one of the times when they asked him that question, he said, "I'm the light." Watch how the light grows when it's shared. It is a time of year when I especially like to enjoy the light. Every day there's a little bit more. But I'm going to put this light back on the shelf so that we can get on with our story. This story you'll find in the Godly Playroom. It's very gold. There might be a parable inside. Something precious is inside, certainly. And parables are very valuable, maybe even more valuable than gold. And it looks a bit like a gift. Parables are gifts that have been given to you. Even if you don't know what a parable is, it's already been given. You don't need to buy them or have to earn them. They're simply given to you. There just might be a parable inside. It's got this lid on it, like a door. It's closed, and it's stopping us from getting inside. Sometimes, even when we're really ready, it's hard to open up and get inside a parable. I don't know why that is. But I do know that if you keep coming back, one day it'll open for you. And you'll be able to get all the way inside. It looks very old. Parables are also very old. Even older than me, and you, and all of us put together. You think we should open it? See if there really is a parable inside? All right. Oh. I wonder what this could be. It's kind of beigey brown. It looks not quite, but pretty close to that stuff I've been kicking off my car tires lately. Could be a little brown. It's got kind of streaks of lighter colors, almost yellow running through it. So it's a kind of yellowy brown. And it is the same color on both sides. With parables, there is always another side. I wonder if there is anything else to help us get ready for this parable. There's nothing else. So all we can do is begin. Once, there was someone who said such amazing things and did such wonderful things that people began to follow him. And the more they followed him, the more they heard him talk about a kingdom. But it wasn't like any kingdom they lived in. And it wasn't like any kingdom they'd ever visited. In fact, it wasn't like any kingdom they'd ever even heard of. And so they just had to ask, what is the kingdom of heaven like? One time, when they asked him that question, he told them this parable. He said, the kingdom of heaven is like some leaven that a woman took. And she mixed it in with 3 measures of flour, which is quite a lot. She mixed the leaven in until it was leavened all over. And the bread rose up and got very full and puffy, just like the bread you buy in the store, or perhaps make at home. I wonder what the woman's name might be. I wonder how she felt when she was mixing up all of that flour and leaven. I wonder who she was going to feed. I wonder if we could take the leaven that was all mixed in back out of the bread. I wonder what the leaven could really be, not just in this parable. I wonder if you've ever come close to something like this. I wonder what this whole thing could really be. So much wondering. And every time you ask a question or I respond or I ask a question and you respond, it's like the leaven just gets all mixed up again and there's more wondering that just gets fuller and fluffier and fuller. Whew. And I'm going to put the story away. You can begin to think about what you might like to do for your work time in response to this story. There's that big, fluffy bread. It took a lot of years before I could make a big, fluffy bread. Mostly you need really, really good leaven. And the 3 measures of flour, which is quite a lot. And the woman who did all that mixing. And the leaven. I wonder. And this big bit of brown that could be so many different things. And watch. So you'll know where to find this parable on the parable shelf when you want to work with it. So I'm going to pause the cameras while I get my response materials ready, and I'll invite you to do the same and come on back whenever you're ready. Welcome back. I have been thinking about mixing things up in my response, and I've been itching to get into the shaving cream a little bit and some finger painting. So I have lots of cleanup claws this time. And I found some of the older tubes of watercolor. So let's see what we've got. We've got some yellow and some red. You probably know what happens when we mix colors with other colors. I don't know if there's enough blue here or not. And there's a little bit of green, but let's see. So I'm gonna start some of this yellow. See if we can get some yellow on my paper. I'm gonna set my water here so I don't spill it. Well, I've already rolled my paintbrush through the paint. I can spread that out. Here we go. I'm gonna use my finger and wipe that in there. Then always good to clean your brush in between colors, or if you're not going to use it for a little bit of time. See if we can't squeeze some red. A lot of these colors are just about done. And while we're here, I'm gonna squeeze some green. Maybe not. I think that one is done. Oh, there we go. A little bit of green. There's even some blue here, but I don't know. Everything is so dry. It hasn't been used for so long. I bet you the paint is even lonely. I think that one's all done. What else? I think that's good for now. So, but the interesting thing about watercolors is even when you've got some of those dry bits, and you add some water, they come to life again. You see what happens as we add the water in. Oh, there it gets almost like a purple or a black when we mix the red and the green. And then we get almost like green and red on one side of the brush. Different colors. A little bit gray. Wonder what part of your life feels a little mixed up these days. You're going to school, sometimes it's hard to know whether you're going to do that in person or on screens. And if you're a parent, it's hard to know whether you're going to be able to go to work or need to stay home with your kids. Sometimes even here in the church, it feels like things are a little mixed up. That we can't do so many of the things we'd like to do. And we spend a lot of time cleaning up. Trying not to spread things from one color or one person to another. Are you ready? I'm just going to start with a little bit. We'll see whether it changes the colors. It definitely smells. I wonder what needs to happen so that we can feel like when things get mixed up, we can still play and have fun with that. I wonder what you've been doing to help fluff up or lighten your spirit. Is that what the leaven is about? A little bit, maybe? Those things that make us laugh or smile or just get those tingly all over good feelings. Oh, it does. I can move color with the... Oh, there's some of the blue. Wow. Even after the water and the thing, it was the mixing in of the shaving cream that picked up some of that blue that had been sitting on the paper. Ah. I think lots of times in life we're just afraid to get messy or try something new. I wonder if the kingdom of heaven is a bit like this. Every time we come back to it and we add something else in or we change something up, spreads and it looks different, and super different. Maybe it's almost like the shaving cream is separating out some of the blue that's in the green. We wouldn't be able to put it all back in the tubes of the right color, just like we can't put the leaven out of the flour in the bread once it's all fluffy and baked. Well, I'm going to invite you to take the time you need to play a little, to stir God into your life and into your week, and see what happens. And be open to noticing signs of the kingdom, even in the mess, even when it looks like it's not really going to do anything, and then all of a sudden, there's that streak of blue. I'm not quite done. There's a little bit more, because we're still in that season of Epiphany, and I couldn't resist finding some glitter. I'm very grateful that we have a custodian who likes glitter. I'm just going to spread that out a little bit, see if it'll dry into the paint. Okay, I think I'm done now. So I'm going to clean up my mess and some of these materials and get ready for feast. And if you want to work a little bit longer, you can pause the video and do your response time. And then when you're ready, get your feast materials and come on back to the circle. Welcome back. Here we are. So I didn't get a chance to wash my hands while I was cleaning up my paint. So I'll just use some of this handy sanitizer that seems to be everywhere except when you want it. Whew. It's not quite as fragrant as the shaving cream, but it's definitely a little more scented than I'm used to. I wonder what you have for your feast today. I have a napkin. And I have some grapes and a glass of water. Feast doesn't have to be elaborate. It is more about the company that we share and our intention of being together and being grateful for that which nourishes us, body and soul. Sometimes I find the story is feast enough, or spending some time getting messy and creative. There are many different ways that we talk with God. Sometimes we call that prayer. Sometimes we call it creating. Sometimes it's in our silence, when we really listen. So I invite us to take another deep breath, to know ourselves held in the holy love of God, whose Spirit is continually stirring into us new possibilities and inviting us to be present with others in ways that help them see the beauty and wonder of this world and act in ways that are kind and speak words of hope and encouragement. God is good all the time. All the time. God is good. Amen. Well, let's feast. Whew, that's a bit tart.
I wasn't too sure.
That's really not the season for grapes. January in Alberta. Really, the only kind of fruit that's around right now is frozen. But it's a good thing there's some, because the birds and the squirrels need a little bit to eat. I think even the deer have been walking up on our sidewalk to get some of the mountain ash berries. At least I see the tracks in the morning when I'm going out to shovel or get ready to go to work. I wonder who you've noticed out and about. I've seen a fox a couple of mornings. Once when I was walking through the cemetery, and yes, it was a live one. And another time out at by the lake park, and it just ran across the ice. I've seen lots of rabbits. They're all white. And we have a squirrel that I'm afraid lives in my attic when it gets really cold. But during the day it sits right above our bird feeder, kind of huddled on a branch, trying to keep warm. I even saw a robin the other day. One of those really bitter cold days. And I couldn't imagine what on earth a robin was doing. In Alberta. In January. And yet there it was. I wonder if God's like that. Can't quite imagine what God could possibly be doing in that situation or that time. And yet God's there. Maybe not always looking exactly like we expect to see or to hear, but still there. I wonder if you've heard any good jokes lately. I came across one. I'm not sure it's a good joke, but it does tie in a little bit to the animal things we were talking about. It was a line for people who like to laugh. Save the whales. Collect the whole set. I know. He said I didn't think it was a very good one, but there you go. I'm not really good at remembering waves. Jokes. I'm not very good at remembering much these days. Maybe you're noticing that too. I sure hope if you're going to school, though, that you're remembering both what to do for school, to wear your mask, to keep your distance, and sanitize or wash lots. It's a lot of things to remember. I think it's just about time to change the light and say goodbye for another week. So watch what happens when we change the light. Right now it's just in this one place and time. But when we change it, it can spread out. It might find its way to where you are. Maybe some of those people and places in the world that need a little stirring up. Or to some of those people and places in the world that need a little more light. and a little less stirring up. So watch. Some people miss this part. It's spreading. It's getting thinner. And I can hardly see it anymore. Just because something isn't quite visible doesn't mean it isn't there. Thank you again for being part of the circle. If you'd like to find out more about First United, you can check out our website, our Facebook page, or YouTube channel. We post these videos every week. On Saturday morning, usually, on both Facebook and YouTube. And then there's worship services that get posted on Sunday, and a few other bits and bobs that go on the website or the Facebook page during the week. All of which we hope add a little leaven to your life. God bless. Be well. Be kind to one another. Until we see you again.